Hi, my name is N.J. Sterling, the author of Heavenly Daughter. You can get your copy now on Amazon. Now, today I wanted to show you guys and gals how to make incense. Let's get started. Okay, so this is my setup. I have dry lavender, angelica root, cinnamon sticks, and maca powder, which we'll be using later. Also, I have a grater, pestle and mortar, myrrh, benzoin, which is like a type of gum, and frankincense. And this is where we'll be mixing everything. And of course, I have water, which is going to be needed to mix all the ingredients together. Okay, the first step is to crush the lavender into small pieces, and also to make sure that you take out any stems, because you basically want to make the powder as fine as possible, and stems will disrupt that process. So that's basically the first step. Very simple, very standard. Okay, next I'll be grating the cinnamon sticks, and as you all know, cinnamon has a very unique and distinct taste and smell, especially for incense, and I really enjoy using cinnamon for almost all of my incense making. It's very pungent, it's very elegant, and also the smell is very relaxing and soothing. The next herb that I'll be using is called angelica root. I find that it is a very earthy, uplifting, and very light type of smell, but it also has its distinct qualities which I really enjoy in my incense, especially in this unique combination which I'll be creating today, which will be very uplifting and loving type of vibration in which I want to expand in my living quarters. So yes, I'll be grinding it, and as you can see, when you grind angelica root, there'll be big pieces left, so take those pieces aside as I'm showing you now, and dump the powder, of course, with the mixing components and the other mixing components that we'll be using, other herbs. And then don't fear, because what we're going to do is we're going to take big clumps of myrrh, putting it into the same piece of paper, as well as frankincense, because you can't really grind these, they're a gum. So the next step is to basically smash them with a hammer, which is actually one of my funnest parts of this procedure. So I collect all the big chunks and I put them on a piece of paper. I'm just smelling because it smells good, obviously. So okay, put these aside. And benzoin that I have, the benzoin gum is already a powder, so I'll be putting some of that straight into the mixture. And it basically smells like bubble gum. And if any of you like the smell of Hubba Bubba bubble gum, you'll definitely like benzoin powder in your incense. That's a fact. And most of these are very ancient, and they hold unique qualities. Okay, so the next step is to basically fold a piece of paper with all the thick ingredients in there, as you can see. As such, and put them into a Ziploc bag like I am doing, and fold the Ziploc bag so that you take all the air out. That's important. Now, time for smashing. Okay, once that is done and your gums are more or less crushed, the next step is to separate the crushed components of the mixture from the gums, because gums really is you're gonna have clumps regardless of what you do with them, but it's only a matter of how big those clumps are. I mean, you can keep on smashing until they're tiny little bits, but I don't think that's necessary in this case. So I'm going to separate the powdered residue from the clumps, and the clumps I can save for another batch of incense another time and smash it until it's more fine. So you don't really lose anything from this procedure of separating the clumps from the crushed components. And yes, that's the next step. In this case, it's an easy does it process, because the more fine your mixture, the more easier it will be for you to make the incense and shape it when the next step happens. Good. Now once that's done, it's time to add mako powder. Now mako powder is designed, it's used to stick the incense together, and in this case I'm going to be adding roughly 1/3 of my overall ingredients of mako powder. You can add more or less, just kind of play with it. You don't need to be exact. It's not an exact science. Making incense is more of an art, and it's a learning process that comes through practice, and basically it's also a craft. So just enjoy it. You know, there's no rush. It's kind of meditative. You can take your time however long you need, and you can put whatever ingredients you want, really, depending on the smells you like, and kind of play with it. Over time you'll learn what smells you like, what smells you don't, and what combinations suit you best in in terms of your personality traits and different aspects of what you're trying to achieve by making those incense. Okay, once that's done, I give it a quick little mix just to make sure all the ingredients are unified. And the last step, one of the last steps rather, is to add water. Now do so slowly. I prefer to add less than more, because you can always add more on top of what you have, but you cannot take away water once it's been added. So, you know, add a little drop here and there, mix it, and then add a tiny bit more as you go along. And you want it to basically start sticking together. That's the main goal here. And of course right now it's still a little dry, as you can see, so I'm going to be adding a little more water. And this is also an easy does it process. Don't rush. Don't just dump a bunch of water and be like, oh, whoopee, because then you can have a big problem with some slushy herbs, which you cannot turn into incense, because they're going to be just not dry enough to stick together. They need to be somewhat dry, somewhat hard, a little wet, but not slushy. That's key. It's basically like playing with dough. It should feel like kneading dough. The next step is kind of like kneading dough. You want to squish all the components together. And lastly, is about shaping the incense. I like to shape them in cones, but you can shape them however you want to. Just make sure that you can place them on a platform and light them with a lighter, of course. And there you have it, homemade incense. Of course, you can make a bigger batch than I did. I only wanted to make 6, but that's about it. I hope you enjoyed my video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's see what incense you guys make. Comment on what incense you guys made, and I want to hear all about it. Don't be shy. You can always comment me. You can always message me anytime, any place, anywhere. Okay, thank you, and have a nice day.